You are listening to Bedtime Dreamy Tales. Please make sure you have smashed that like button and subscribe to our channel for new story. Story title, The Hare and the Hedgehog. In the verdant expanse of Buckshood Moor, a tapestry of wildflowers danced under the caress of a gentle summer breeze. The moor, alive with the vibrant hues of blooming buckwheat, was a spectacle of nature's harmony. It was here, on this serene Sunday morning, that the story unfolds, a tale recounted through generations, embellished in its telling yet grounded in truth. Every creature seemed to revel in the day's beauty, but none more so than Mr. Hedgehog. Standing at his doorway, hands on hips, Mr. Hedgehog hummed a tune that was as old as the hills around him. His heart swelled with the joy of the new day as he watched his neighbors, the villagers, dressed in their Sunday finery, making their way to the church period. Amidst this idyllic setting, a plan began to form in his mind, prompted by a simple task. Check on the turnips near his home. As Mr. Hedgehog made his way towards the turnip patch, he came across Mr. Hare, who was also out to inspect his own patch of cabbages. The greeting that Mr. Hedgehog offered was met with scorn from Mr. Hare, who deemed himself superior due to his swift legs and fine appearance. Their conversation quickly spiraled from a friendly encounter to a heated challenge, sparked by Mr. Hare's disregard for Mr. Hedgehog's shorter stature and his sarcastic comment on the supposed ineffectiveness of his legs. Indignant yet sharp-witted, Mr. Hedgehog proposed a race, not just as a rebuttal but as a clever ruse to teach Mr. Hare a lesson in humility. The terms were set with a wager of a gold Louis and a bottle of brandy, shaking hands to seal their agreement. Mr. Hedgehog, however, requested a brief delay to have his breakfast, buying himself time to perfect his strategy. Upon returning home, Mr. Hedgehog explained the situation to Mrs. Hedgehog, who was initially bewildered by her husband's audacious challenge. Despite her protests, she was quickly roped into her husband's plot. Together, they devised a plan where she would assist in duping Mr. Hare by using their physical resemblance to their advantage. As they approached the designated racing field, Mr. Hedgehog instructed his wife to hide at the end of one row in the field. The strategy was simple yet ingenious. As Mr. Hare reached the end of his sprint, Mrs. Hedgehog was to emerge and declare herself the winner, exploiting their similar appearances to confuse their opponent. The race commenced with Mr. Hare bolting forward with all his might, confident in his impending victory. However, his confidence was quickly shattered when he heard Mrs. Hedgehog's voice claiming victory at the end of the field. Confused and determined, Mr. Hare demanded a rematch, only to fall for the same trick repeatedly. With each race, Mr. Hedgehog and his wife alternated roles, each time fooling Mr. Hare, who grew increasingly exhausted. The repeated exertions, driven by his refusal to accept defeat and his growing frustration, took a toll on Mr. Hare. After the 74th race, he collapsed, overwhelmed by fatigue and defeat, leaving Mr. Hedgehog victorious. With the race won and the wager claimed, Mr. and Mrs. Hedgehog returned home, their spirits high with the success of their clever ploy. The tale of the race spread quickly through Buckshood Moor, becoming a legend of wit overcoming pride. This story, passed down through the generations, serves as a reminder of the virtues of humility and cleverness. It cautions against underestimating those who may appear different or less capable and celebrates the strength found in unity and clever strategy. Mr. Hedgehog's victory was not just a personal triumph but a communal lesson on the value of respecting all creatures, regardless of their size or speed. In Buckshood Moor, where Mr. and Mrs. Hedgehog still reside according to local lore, the memory of that race lingers as a testament to their cunning and resourcefulness, a tale that teaches every new generation the power of wit over might. If you like the story, please give this video a like. For more stories, go to bedtimedreamytales.com. See you in the next story.